Islam, Islam, Islam. Peace and love. Come on in. Came to the right spot. Come on in. You came to the right spot. Come on in. Let's play some tunes. While we let everybody come in, play a few tunes. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Come on in. Came to go in. on there. Go in. Back to the right spot. Grace. Love of the gospel. Come on in. Welcome to the Conscious College. Grand Sheik presiding. Michi Slay say SSA 1721. That's what I'm talking about. Let me give my let me rise and give perfect praise to Father God Allah, the Father of the universe. And all honors to Noble Drew Ali, the prophet. All honors to Marcus Garvey, his forerunner. You understand me? Giving all honors and praises where they do, all props where they do, all honors to everybody that came in to this live today and that's tuning in to the replay. I want to tell you, if you stay to the end of this live, you already know I got something good for you. I got a password for you that's going to give you 50% off on my new class coming tomorrow titled The Lost Estate, the Cestui KV Trust. All right. I'm going to give y'all a quick summary and synopsis of some of the things we're going to cover tomorrow because it's so big for me to hold in. I can't even hold it in. I got to share this information with y'all. You understand? Because I'm hearing a lot of people talk about trust, taxes, and I just want to give my understanding on the subject because it's something I operate in. I got receipts. That's what I really do. So at the end of the day, people like how I break things down, right? So let me break it down. Let's talk about it. Oh, fold them. The Cestui KV Trust claiming the lost estate. Let's talk about it. Let's go in. Because I don't think people really comprehend how important your estate is, how important the Cestui KV Trust is, and really understand a foundation on how to convert your estate over to your private living trust, convert over your estate to yourself as the executor, and benefit from your estate in your living trust. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about how to protect your rights, titles, and interests. All right, a lot of people don't understand what really transpired in the history behind the United States of America, the Moroccan Empire, in the relation to you. Whether you are a Moor or you ain't, it's still related to you because this is the history of the world powers that had agreements and disagreements. You understand what I'm saying? United States was one point in time not the world power. At one point in time, the Moroccan Empire was the world power. You understand what I'm saying? The United States had to go to the Moroccan Empire to get permission to operate on the land we call North America. But this land called North America has been through many lands. Islam, it's been through many names. This is not the only name that it's been known as. This land we standing on is America. Islam, it's America. You can look it up. That's the name of this land. It had ancient names older than that. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us this name of this land was northwest of Maxim. It's northwest of Maxim, all right? It got a lot of names and history to this land. But what we want to talk about today is how your name, your government name, is a Cestui KV Trust to sheet your rights, titles, and interests of your estate. And if you ain't competent on what's going on with trust and trust law, then you're going to be left out in the blind because you don't understand how everything is contract and all contracts is a trust agreement. All right. First, let's go into the Black's Law Dictionary. Y'all know, hey, anybody that come to my lives, y'all know y'all going to learn something today. I'm going through straight to the Black's Law Dictionary. This is the 6th edition, abridged. Y'all already know. Let's look up some words so we can lay down a foundation of what we talking about, Islam. Let's lay down that foundation of what we talk about. Because first of all, we talk about the Cestui KV trust. What is a trust? What is an estate? First of all, let's go look at the definition of an estate. This comes out of your Black's Law Dictionary. Estate is a very long definition. We got time today, Islam. We got time today. An estate, I see you struggling hard. Say, yes, sir, teach. I'm for the teacher today. As teacher, we got time tonight, don't we? On this good Sunday night. Now, an estate is the degree, quantity, nature, and extent of interest which a person has in real or personal property. An estate in lands, tenements, inheritments signifies such interest as the tenant has therein, the condition or circumstance in which the owner stands with regard to his property. Let me say that again. The condition or circumstance in which the owner stands with regard to his property. In this sense, estate is commonly used in conveyances in connection with the words rights, title, and interest, and is in a great degree synonymous with all of them. You understand? Let me read that again for the ones in the back. We reading the definition out of Black's Law Dictionary of an estate. Because what I'm explaining to you today is that you lost your estate and you must regain your estate. But you got to know what the estate is, the lawful definition. An estate is the degree, the quantity, the nature, and extent of interest which a person has in real and personal property. Let me read that one more time. The degree, quantity, nature, and extent of interest which a person has in real and personal property. And in stating lands, tenements, inheritments signifies such interest as the tenant has therein. The condition or circumstance in which the owner stands in regard to his property. In this sense, estate is commonly used in conveyances in connection with the words rights, title, and interest, and is in a great degree synonymous with all of them. So just off the first paragraph, we can see that the word estate is synonymous with three words. And those three words is your rights, your title, and your interest. Now, wait a minute, Grand Sheik. How is this synonymous with those three words? Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to break that down. Because you have rights. You have divine rights. You have human rights. You have indigenous rights. You have birth rights. You understand? And you have civil rights. You got a list of different type of rights. You got religious rights. But the one in particular we speaking on right now in the state is your birthright. Just by you being born and by you being a descendant, you have certain birthrights of your bloodline. Islam. Kenneth the Menace say birthrights. Islam, birthrights. You was born with rights that was given to you by the divine. These are your inalienable birthrights. They unalienable and inalienable. Struggling hard, say rights, titles, and interests. Yes, sir. Now, when you get into your birthrights, can't nobody take your rights away. Your rights can't be licensed. They can't give you a privilege and then say this is your right. Meaning, what you was born to do, like breathing air, like walking down the street, nobody can put a license on that and say, look, you have to put a license on you walking down the street. God gave me the right to walk down the street, just like God gave me the right to travel down the street in an automobile. Islam, He gave me that right to travel in an automobile. So how can you turn around and put a license on something that I had a right to do? Now, if you need a reference point of some of your birthrights, your civil rights and inalienable rights, you can review the Bill of Rights in the U.S. Constitution. That's the first 10 amendments. The first 10 amendments of the U.S. Constitution is known as the Bill of Rights because it's a bill. That means somebody has to perform on this bill, and the public trustees, as the government of the United States, have to perform on this Bill of Rights. They owe you rights. Your rights are secured in a security agreement called the United States Constitution. Islam, let's talk about it. Now, your title, Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution said, United States cannot grant no titles of nobility. Your title, your Bay and L are your titles of nobility for Moorish Americans because these are the highest known titles in the land of history. What's the Bay and the L? It's nothing higher than those titles. You can look it up if you think I'm lying. A Bay is over a king. A Bay is on the level of a sultan or an emperor. So is an ill. You can look it up in history. United States cannot grant those titles of nobility because they are foreign government or corporation doing business on our land. They in North America, but they're a European government that declared their independence from Europe, from Great Britain, the empire, and came to our empire, and we recognized them as the nation. We was the first nation to recognize them as a nation. So a lot of y'all don't understand reclaiming the lost estate. You don't have to go to nobody to get recognition of something you already recognize. All you have to understand is what your estate is, how to reclaim the estate. So let me continue reading about the estate, Islam, so we can understand what the estate is, how to claim the lost estate, and how do we lose the estate. Okay, let's continue reading. When used in connection with probate proceeding, the term encompasses totality of assets and liabilities of descendant, including all manner of property, real and personal, coed or inchoate, corporeal or incorporeal, the total property of whatever kind that is owned by a descendant prior to the distribution of that property in accordance with the terms of a will, or when there is no will, by the laws of inheritance in the state of domicile of the descendant. It means ordinarily the whole of the property owned by anyone, the realty as well as the personality, as used in connection with the administration of descendant's estate. Term includes property of descendant, a trust, or other person, such as property exists from time to time during administration, and hence may include probate assets as well as property passing by entity. This comes out of Uniform Probate Code, subsection 1-201. Okay? So let's break this down. So your estate is the totality of property, whether you own it or your ancestors own it by a descendant. Now, a descendant is somebody who is your ancestor who passed down an estate down to you. Now, this is when nationality comes in play, because we are claiming that we are descendants of the ancient Moabites and Canaanite nations, who are the first inhabitants of the northwest, southwestern shores of Africa, what we presently known as Americas in Africa. Okay, so we claim to be indigenous. That means there's an estate that comes with that. That means there's rights, titles, and interests that comes with that. That means that when we say we Moorish American, we not only saying that we understand our history and nationality and our lineage and our bloodline, but we saying we got something that's owed to us. We got some reparations that's due to us. Reparations mean to repair a nation. So we have a nation. The prophet came to establish as a government and establish a public trust known as the Moorish Science Temple of America. When he established this public trust, it was so to convert all the property, all the estates back over to the indigenous people of the land to hold in trust. Islam, because your estate has to be held in trust. So this is when it comes into play the Cestui KV trust. Okay? When this comes into play, this is why this trust was created by the Catholic Empire to escheat all the estates over to the trust known as the Cestui KV trust. Okay, this is a public trust that they escheated your estate. Now let's go to the word escheatment. So now I'm giving y'all, if y'all stick to the end of this live, I'm going to give y'all the password for 50% off my upcoming class tomorrow, the Lost Estate, the Cestui KV Trust. I'm going to give y'all step by step in the class on what I'm talking about and how to claim your estate, how to file your taxes, how to correct your status as the executor of the estate, how to become the grantee of your estate, and how to be the beneficiary of the estate. A lot of y'all not benefiting. You paying taxes out of your labor. You paying taxes out of your finances. You're doing a lot of things that you don't really have to do when you understand how to move out of your estate and move out of trust. Okay, we're going to go to the word escheatment. Escheat means a reversion of property to the state in consequence of the want of any individual competent to inherit. So an escheatment of your estate means that all the property got reversed back to the state, which is the colony. The state is the colony, Mo. And your property, your estate, was escheated because you didn't claim it. You didn't proclaim the estate by proclaiming the nationality, creating a living trust, and doing the proper paperwork and documents to put a lien and claim your lost estate. All right, that's when it happened. Escheatment happened. Okay, escheatment ain't just what happens with a with a house and things like that. Escheatment happens in a lot of ways. So let's talk about the Cestui KV. Now, the Cestui KV is a French word. All right, it's a French word. It means he who lives. And is a legal term for an individual who is the beneficiary of a trust or an insurance policy with rights to property and the income and profits that the property provides. A Cestui K trust is the person entitled to an equitable rather than a legal trust in the estate of assets. Okay, so your estate assets has been escheated to the state, and what they created was a Cestui K trust where they the beneficiaries when you supposed to be the beneficiary of your estate. Islam, this is why you have to reverse the estate. Okay? It says that the concept is also used in modern life and health insurance policies, where Cestui KV is an individual whose life measures the duration of the insurance contract. In these contracts, the Cestui KV is known as the policy holder, insurer, or policy owner. Thus, while the term refers to the beneficiary of a trust or an estate, it often refers to the insured, not the beneficiary of an insurance policy. So this is how they insure your birth certificate with the Social Security insurance. The Social Security is the insurance for the birth certificate. What they escheated your estate. When they created the birth certificate, they created what they call a nexum. And a nexum is a bond to the state that they created. They bonded you to the state, making you trust property. That's why they call you a resident. A resident comes from the word res, which means trust property, RES. So when they made you trust property, then they insured it with the Social Security insurance. All right. And this is why they have a maturity date on your Social Security bond, because your Social Security is insurance that they measured your lifespan. They already have a measurement of that, how much energy that you're going to give them. Then they created you into a labor organization, and they turned your labor wages into a term called income. But you don't make income because there's no money being circulated, and income is only a profit that a business make. But since they made your name into the Cestui Trust, your government name is a business. So they consider that as income because they consider you doing business. They consider your name as the what we call as a sole proprietor. Islam. So if you don't have the understanding on how to move with these entities, LLCs, S corps, trusts, and these type of entities, then this is how they administer in your estate, because this is how the world that we live in North America, this is how it works. It all works through the corpse, dead entities. You know what I'm saying? It's an artificial world we playing in. It's called Emerald City in the Wizard of Oz. All right? So the way you beat the Wizard of Oz, through the yellow brick road, you know what I'm saying, which is the silver and gold. You understand me? That's the true lawful money. You got to get back to the constitutional fold of thinking. Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution says only silver and gold coins are used as tender of payment of a debt. So Federal Reserve notes are private notes that's used to sheet your estate, because they say that you owe taxes and you got to pay these type of things by Federal Reserve notes. In the Bible, they went to Jesus and asked Jesus. They say, Jesus, what they say to Jesus? Should we pay taxes? Jesus said, let me see the coins you're going to pay taxes in. He said, these coins got Caesar face on it. He said, render with Caesar, and render with God was God. See, a lot of y'all don't understand that statement, because you don't understand that what the Europeans created, this false wealth, what we call money, is just a tool, an instrument used to control the world, to cheat the estates of the people. This is how you lost your estate. They turned your name into a business, and then they say their business owe them for everything. Now they got a lien on your estate, because a lien is just something that you owe. A lien is just a debt tied to your estate, tied to a trust. You understand? You got to reverse these things with certain documents. And that's what we're going to go through in this class tomorrow. We're going to go through those documents, those exact documents you're going to need to establish yourself, the Cestui KV trust. You have to establish the living trust. You have to connect the living trust to the state. You have to do a financing statement on the estate. It's certain documents that's used to sheet the estate. Understand? I'm gonna go right in on it. If you stick to the end of this live, I'm gonna get y'all a password so y'all can get in on this half off and get all the knowledge you need, so you can go ahead and claim your securities and claim your estate assets. See, your estate has assets in North America that we're not claiming. We're not reporting this to the IRS. We don't really know what's going on with our securities and collateral, because we don't understand how the Social Security number works. We don't understand how our signature authorize payments so they can tap into our Social Security trust. You understand? But in this class, we're going to go in on that. Let me scroll down. Let me give y'all a little sneak peek of the class that's going down tomorrow. Let me give y'all a sneak peek. Let me give y'all a sneak peek. Drop a 100 if y'all still with me. If y'all still with me, drop a 100. Let me see some 100s fly out here if y'all still with me. Because we finna go in. We finna go in. That was just a small taste. I still got about 10 more minutes with y'all. I'm finna go in. Tomorrow the class I'm dropping, and I'm gonna drop the password in about 5 minutes. You understand? I'm gonna drop the password in about 5 minutes. The state course is only $44 at consciouscollege.org, and I'm gonna give y'all half off on that. And if you've been to any of my previous classes before, you already know you get it half off. All right? Because this is very important information now. Because once you understand the estate, in the trust, the Cestui KV trust, the living trust, and how to minister your estate, you can free yourself from a lot of these financial burdens you in, criminal burdens you in. A lot of y'all don't understand who you are. It all starts with self-identity. You have to be identified in the trust and estate. Why you think they took your nationality away? Because it took you from your estate. It took you from your rights, titles, and interests and your contracts. Okay, we got some 100s. We got some 100s dropping. That's what I'm talking about. Keep the minutes, drop the 100. Drop 2 100s. That's what I'm talking about. Seth Thomas dropped the 100. That's what I'm talking about. Known as R. McCohen dropped the 100. The Bays Vlog channel dropped the 100. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go in. So I'm going to give y'all a quick overview of the masterclass that we have in tomorrow, right? Now, what you're going to learn in this masterclass tomorrow is how to understand equitable rights that's connected to your nationality. Ziggy Williams dropped the 1,000. That's what I'm talking about. Ziggy, boy. No Ziggy, you hear me? Hey, now listen. In this masterclass, each student will learn how to minister their estates as beneficiaries, reclaiming their lawful heirship, and will have a thorough understanding of the equitable rights based on nationality and ancestral inheritance laws. Each student will learn how to establish a rightful claim and demonstrate lineage, ownership history, and compliance with applicable legal frameworks governing estate recovery. You understand? So in this PDF, not only I'm gonna give you PDF, you know all my classes come with templates. I'm giving y'all the most templates I probably ever dropped in the class. And I put together you see this a whole PowerPoint presentation. So I'm coming with some sauce, some heat on this one. I had to cancel Friday Holy Day service just so I could put more time into this, because this is something that's gonna replay over and over and ring you know what I'm saying, it's gonna ring bells in people's ears for and help people administer their estates, because that's what it's all about. When we get down to the nitty-gritty of this, we saying, yeah, we Moorish American proclaiming our nationality. Everybody has a nationality, even Europeans. You have an estate. Everybody has an estate by their ancestors. Everybody has land. Everybody has resources. When we talk about your rights, we're not just talking about your civil rights, human rights. It also includes your land rights, your air rights, your water rights. That's what the law is: land, air, water. You are the law of the land when you're indigenous to the land. But they got you out of your estate so they can get you out of your rights, titles, and interests, which is your equity. You understand what I'm saying? They took your equity away from you, and you redo your equity. You redo your rights, titles, and interests. You understand? You have the indigenous nation that pretty much built this whole country. So guess what? All the land, the air, and the water, electricity, everything, the minerals is really ours. We own these things. We already plain rich. We just have to claim it, understand how they administer these things through the IRS, through the Department of Treasury. You understand? They administering these things through the Department of Treasury. All right? Let's talk about it now. Now let's talk about procedures for estate asset administration. See, your estate has assets. So you understand that everything you ever signed was an asset. All your bills on your credit report, all the bills that come in your mail are really assets. But we don't know they're assets because we look at everything as a liability, as a debt, because everything been reversed. Debt is really a credit here. Debt is really money here. When you get your bills, they don't have a negative sign on it. It's not negative about your bills. It's not negative about these contracts, because you have an asset that you gave them called a promissory note. For them to bill you, you had to sign a note. So you had to create some money. And when you created this money, they are paying you interest to your estate, but you don't have your trust set up. So it's getting converted over to your Cestui K trust. due to its treatment process. And this happens every day to us because we don't understand its treatment process. But my master class, I'm giving y'all the sauce now. It says each student will learn the principles of reclaiming a lost estate, and what involves to have a structured legal process that includes verifying national identity, ancestral descent, and historical property ownership. This process may require petitioning courts, working with estate administrators, and navigating jurisdiction, Pacific inheritance laws to restore rightful ownership and sovereignty. You understand? So you gotta understand, you have to reclaim this lost estate that's been lost and is abandoned. The Cestui KV Act of 1666, when they created this, they said all estates and property of the indigenous people are abandoned. And that's following the doctrine of discovery. See, Christopher Columbus never discovered America. It was the doctrine of discovery that he enforced. And what they enforced is, if they wasn't under the jurisdiction of the Catholic Empire, then they can be escheated to the trust, to the Cestui K Trust. All right? Then they dropped the Cestui K Act of 1666 because they seen that the people in Americas had lost their nationality. Once we had got away from our nationality, we started accepting terms as Indian in the 1600s. That's when they dropped the Cestui K Trust and they created the Indian Trust. You understand? That was a part of the Cestui K Trust. This term Native American and Indian. They put a trust and they converted our estates over to their trust. And they did it through contract. And this is how they did it. They stripped us of our nationality. Then they made us contract under these artificial classifications. These are artificial classifications. And then once they contract on these artificial classifications, you lost all your rights, titles, and interests. Because in contract law, you have to be identified. That's why identity is so important, because it goes to contract law. If you don't have the proper identity, then you don't have the benefits of the contract. You remove yourself from being a beneficiary if you are not named as the beneficiary, because the beneficiary has to be clearly identified. So this is why they took you out of your human rights. They put you in a corporation. They put you in a corporate status, because in a corporate status, you have no inheritance. A corporation has no inheritance. A corporation cannot inherit an estate. A corporation can hold an estate. A trust can hold an estate. So that's why they declared you dead. Because if you dead, then you have no living rights. So that's why you have to create the living trust. Praise Allah for the living trust, because Allah lives. See, the Quran say man can never die. Your trust can never die. Islam, your trust can never die. The Cestui K Trust, it's a public trust, but you have to create the private trust to control the public trust. Islam, let's talk about it, no? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Huh? Don't make me bug up in here on phone now. Don't make me bug up with this information. This is serious information. It's not a game. Islam, this is real talk. This is your life. This is your money. This is your freedom, your liberty, your pursuit of happiness. It's been taken from you because you don't understand your estate. You don't understand your sovereignty. You don't understand your nationality and your identity. It's been stripped from you. You have to claim your secured party status. You have to secure your estate through the instruments that has cheated your estate. See, they gave you the birth certificate, social security card, driver's license. These are instruments and tools and contracts they use to cheat your estate and hypothecate your estate. Islam, look up these words. We talking real talk right now. We talking divine talk. We talking that grand sheik talk. Let's talk about it. Islam, claiming your secure party status. To support their claim, beneficiaries must provide official proof of nationality, genealogy records, historical land deeds, estate documents, and legal filings that establish their entitlement. Proper documentation is essential to substantiate ownership rights and to recover the lost estate. Islam, this is what I'm talking about. Your nationality is very important to recover the lost estate. It's not no game. See, it says you have to have official proof of your nationality. You have to have genealogy records and historical land deeds to prove your estate. We have all these things. That's why the prophet came. That's why I give the honors to the prophet. He brought us everything that we need to save a nation. He brought us the title to our vast estate. But if you don't understand his works, it's going to go over your head. When he put the 1099 affidavit on the record in 1929, Islam, when he put that on the record, he created a trust known as the Moorish Science Temple of America, according to the Herbst Revised Act. Then he made a public declaration down in Cuba that we was an indigenous nation. Then he created the Constitution, divine Constitution and bylaws to form a government to administer our sovereignty. Because when Prophet Noble Drew Ali came, he ain't come as no second-class citizen. The prophet came to reclaim sovereignty so we can administer our sovereignty because we have an estate that's sovereign. We have rights, titles, and interests that takes presidents and nationals over anybody coming on our land. We have the highest rights, titles, and interests on the land. We have the richest estate. That's why we must proclaim it. That's why everybody trying to come here to administer our estate. Islam. Bam McGarty said, I wish our people would awaken. It's only 144,000 that's supposed to wait. It's only 140,000. Islam, that's the problem. We looking for everybody. We looking for everybody to wake up. Everybody ain't gonna wake up. It's not meant for everybody to wake up. The prophet said, if I woke all y'all up at the same time, y'all gonna tear something up. It ain't meant for everybody to wake up. It's only meant for the chosen ones. It's only meant for the black sheep of the family. Everybody ain't meant to wake up right now. Don't be mad at the people ain't waking up. You got to step up. See, the people that woke up got to step up. We got to put in extra work to protect our loved ones. We got to protect those that's ignorant. We got to protect those that's blind. You got to put the work in, create the trust, and put them in the trust. Put them in the trust. Take their social security numbers. Take their birth certificate numbers. And file a UCC, become the security party, and put yourself in security party status over that they property. These are the achievement documents that they need. Islam. So we got to step up as the chosen ones. We can't look at the ones that sleep. We got to look at ourselves. We got to come together as a nation. If you saying you woke and you want to help your people, then come to Temple 84. You should be in Temple 84 trying to serve as a government official so we can administer the states of our people. That's what Temple 84 for. Now, as I promised y'all, right? A lot of y'all stayed to the end of this live, and I appreciate y'all, right? Y'all been hanging in there. I've been dropping these jewels about this class. Then we're going to have this master class tomorrow about the lost estate. That says they KV Trust. The password, I promise you, a half off password. I'm giving half off. I'm showing love. I'm showing love because the reason I'm doing this, spread the information. This is $1,000 worth of information I'm giving to you for $44. And the half off code for that is estate plan. Estate plan. One word, all caps. Estate plan is the half off code for tomorrow's class, 7 p.m. Central Time. I'm going in. You're going to get this whole PDF of the slideshow I created. You're going to get over 100-some templates to administer your estate, dealing with the 1099s, 2848s, the UCC 1 and 3, UCC 11s. You're going to get it all. I'm not holding back with this master class. I'm replacing the last estate class I did last year with the additional information we learn in this year and the new receipts we get in this year, plus the old receipts. We mix it in the pot. We put it all in the blender on this one. We put it in the blender. All right. It's love. So let's talk about what the prophet gave us a land deed, chapter 47 in our Quran. Shout out to the brother Walter Bay. He put together a nice little book right here. I like called the Circle 7 extended edition for master teachers and ADAP students. We're gonna go to chapter 47. Man, I opened the book and went straight to it, man. Been divine today. So this is the land deed in your Quran. A lot of y'all don't understand. Y'all estate plan is the password. A lot of y'all don't understand what the land deed is. See, the prophet was given the land deed. That's why he came and put the Quran down. Chapter 47 is Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. I'm going to read this to you so you can understand the prophet works. All right. This is I'm reading to you your land deed, the deed to your land. Your El and Bay is the title to the land. It's the title of nobility. It's your car title, your land title, your house title. It's the El and the Bay. Everything must be administered and granted to the El and the Bays. I'm going to read this. Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. Chapter 47, Circle 7 Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Says the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. See how he put that? He said, old man Cush and their family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. So the name that we call Africa was separate from the land of Canaan. And the first inhabitants of what we call Africa was the Cushites. But the prophet called him old man Cush. Old man Cush. This is the Moors, Canaanites, and Moabites. This is your ancestors we speaking on, right? We're not talking about no foreigners. We talking about your people. Matter of fact, we talking about us because we are ancestors who reincarnated back again. But we forget everything in this physical realm, so we got to be reminded. That's why religion supposed to realign us back to where we come from, right? Let's continue talking about it. Verse 3 says, his father Ham and his family was second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of a maxim, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between the father and the son. Let me read that again. It says, father Ham and his family was second. So after the Cush, after son Cush, his father came Ham. And then this when a word we know is called Ethiopia got invented. And Ethiopia means something divided. And it only means the dividing of the land between the father and the son. So between Cush and Ham, this is what the word Ethiopia derives from. That means that's why the prophet taught us no man can be an Ethiopian. Nobody's an Ethiopian. Because that's not a nationality of your ancestors. There was the Hamites and Cushites. Those were not Ethiopians. They was Cushites. Islam and Hamites. Verse 4 said the dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion in Africa. In later years, many of the brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. All right, let me read that again because this is what we call the human records. Because for us to claim our secure party status and our sovereignty in our state, we have to have the genealogy records. See, a lot of y'all going to these European companies looking for genealogy records and blood records, and they already told you those blood DNA tests are tainted. They can't prove your DNA. They can't prove your genealogy through no faulty DNA. You can't be 10% Asian. You can't be 10% African, and you can't be split like that. You 100% whole, one nationality. Islam, you're not 10% Asian. You're not 10% Jamaican. Come on, man. You don't even understand the mind games they play. Those are possibilities of predictabilities that you might be. They predicting that you might be 10%. That's how strong Asian you might be. If you 50% American, then that means you're American. It means you're 100% American. Islam, you got to understand how the pie chart of those things work, Mo. It's all a game. We don't need no DNA test. All we need is genealogy records. See, genealogy records is different than a DNA test. A genealogy record is historical records that shows your bloodline. See, why you think that you don't know where you come from, why they told you come from Africa in 1492? Because they want to mess up the genealogy records. We don't need no DNA test. We all got the same blood. If you got melanin, you got the same blood as me. I don't care if you come from Africa, Asia, Europe, you come from Compton. I don't care if you come from Milwaukee, New York. Man, we all the same. We just a little bit different, but we all the same. You understand what I'm saying? We all have a common ancestor, and we all have common ancestry, and that's going back to the original first inhabitants of the earth, of Africa. Even if we call America Africa, you know what I'm saying? We call this the motherland as well, because it was all connected at one point. They proved it. Florida crust has the same crust as Africa. Florida was a part of Africa, so that means North America is Africa as well. They called the Middle West Egypt at one point in time. Utah comes from the word Ptah, which means Egypt. And they have a lot of secrets in Utah. I can go on and on, but I'm gonna finish reading this. I'm gonna finish reading this true gospel. Verse 7 says that dominion and inhabitation is standing from northeast, and southwest Africa across Great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands before the great earthquake which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. Let me say that again. Their dominion. Who dominion? The Moabites, the Moroccan Empire. The Moroccan Empire dominion extended from northeast, and southwest Africa. So that means both sides of the ocean. When you talk about Africa over here in America, our dominion extended both ways. And then it says across the Great Atlantis. See, that proves what I'm saying. The Great Atlantis. Atlantis, as the prophet said. The Atlantis, they said, did not exist no more. They said it never existed. The prophet put it in the Quran, circle 7. He said that our dominion, that's part of our jurisdiction, that's part of our empire, is Atlantis. So of course they're gonna say it don't exist because they don't want you to know the greatness of your empire. That's why the prophet said a great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America. See what the prophet said? And also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands. So we got Atlantis Island. You call them Caribbean Islands. Why do you think they call them Caribbean Islands? Because they really Atlantis. Caribbean is another name for Atlanteans. We the Atlantean people. We the Moors, the land of the Moor, or present day known as Moroccans or Moors. It's the same people. All right? I'm going to continue reading this gospel. It says the river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade and extends eastward from the river Nile westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. So you got to understand the Mississippi River was really the Nile River, which extended across the great Atlantic Ocean. It was made by our ancestors by their hands. They made this by their hands in order to trade, because the Mississippi River runs right into the Midwest, which is called the 5 Great Lakes. The 5 Great Lakes is the center of commerce. Illinois, Southern Illinois, Cahokia, Illinois used to be the number one trading post in America, in the world. That was the original New York. When you want Italian furs and you wanted the Egyptian silks and the best garments in the world, you had to come to Chicago. Back in the day, that's why Chicago was named out of John Baptiste du Sable, who was a Haitian. See, the Haitians had the revolutionary who kicked the French out. They was the only melanated people in the world to kick out the colonizers and defeat them. Haiti was never able to be fully colonized. You understand what I'm saying? I'm dropping some jewels, some history about your estate. A lot of y'all don't even know what your estate is. You understand? Let's talk about it. The prophet said, Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, verse 9, he said, according to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. Let me read that again. According to all, not just some of them, all the true and divine records of the human race. Hold on, my bad. Of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family. So when you proclaiming these titles of Negro, black, and colored, you just came out of your estate because there's no such people attached to a human family. It says because all inhabitants of Africa were of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation. See, everybody out here ain't human, but we come from the human race. There's only one race of people, that's the human race. Verse 10 says, which your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. Let me read that again. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. So you are your ancestors' return again. That's why it's time to claim your lost estate, because you left something behind that you got to get, that you left. Islam, verse 11 says, there is no one who is able to change man from his descendant nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam, I'm going to close it on that. I appreciate y'all for coming. Check in with me tomorrow, man. We're going to go right in how to claim your estate. We're going to go through all the forms you're going to need. All the IRS forms, we're going to go through the Form 56, the 2848, the Form 8855, the UCC1, the UCC3, the EIN numbers for the private bank, the estate, the foreign EIN number. We're going to go in, man, 1099As, how to report and claim your securities as being administered, how to cancel all debts with the 1099C, the OID, how to do your returns. And it's going to be a continual thing, man. We're going to drop a part two to that. That's going to probably go a little bit deeper into it. But if you don't have your status corrected, your nationality proclaimed, and then you don't have your estate you know what I'm saying, corrected as secured party, and did certain things with the Department of Treasury and the IRS, then you can't benefit from your estate, and you let others, colonizers, be beneficiaries of your Cestui trust, when in actuality you're supposed to be the beneficiary of the Cestui trust. Islam. So with that, I'm gonna close out. Islam, I'm gonna close out with the prayer from the Moorish Science Temple of America. It is Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, true peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam. Put a blessing on the lesson, man. I appreciate everybody for sticking in. Remember, the password is estate plan. Tap in if you want to join the Moorish Science Temple of America. Proclaim your nationality. Text the number 210-239-3229. That's 210-239-3229. Or just hit me up in my inbox. Say, hey, Grand Sheik, I need some help. And let me know what you need help for. Don't just inbox me talking about, hey, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not looking for friends. I'm here as a servant of Allah, here to serve the people. I'm a faithful member. I'm here to do work, and I work all day. I ain't got time to entertain and play with nobody. I'm not playing with these European governments. I'm not playing with my people. I'm not playing with my salvation. Islam is the law, and the law must live. Long live Noble Drew Ali. Peace and love.